el Teatro Real ha estrenado El Perfecto Americano, una ópera alrededor de la vida de Walt Disney, con todas sus contradicciones, compuesta por Philip Glass. El compositor estadounidense, con su sonoridad repetitiva e inconfundible, ha construido la obra a partir del lenguaje de los sueños. En parte, ha dicho, creamos el mundo en el que vivimos, que es quizás resultado de nuestros sueños.
Would you really agree with that? Is that not what you wanted when you abolished slavery? Destroy this spirit and you plant the seeds of despotism around your own doors.
I mean, Philip's great to work with for lots of reasons. One of the reasons is he just lets you get on with it. He doesn't have like a strong, this is how it's got to be, or I think he gets excited by the surprises that will come from when it gets staged. So he's not someone who's a control freak about staging and things like that. I think he likes to see something interpreted.
Turn the goddamn power off! Should we expect some transatlantic military giant to step across the ocean and crush us a blow? Never. Crush us a blow? Never. Crush us a blow?
Well, the scene with Abraham Lincoln is a very interesting one because it's not what you would expect from Walt Disney. I mean, I think everyone knows Walt Disney for his animation, his creation of these speaking animals. And the scene with Abraham Lincoln is an offshoot. I love you. And Abraham Lincoln was going to be, or in fact was, an exhibit in one of his theme parks. And it's the sort of first attempt at animatronics, I think is what you call it. Where you actually see a body coming to life.
We have enemies. You are the savior of the Union, the great liberator. Slavery is a fundamental ill, and injustice.
Disney is a real visionary. He was kind of like a emblematic, kind of iconic figure in American culture. You think of it mostly as popular culture, but it's more than that. He was the one that brought concert music into the films with Fantasia and the Stokowski conducting. He was a real visionary. He saw that popular art is an art form. He struggled with it, as we all struggle with these things. He worked tremendously hard at it. He was a complicated character. He was completely devoted to his work. And the thing about this opera is about the death of Walt Disney. It's about how does a mortal being face eternity. It's a very good story right there.
It was I must confess, a very tough job because we had to devise the entire production without actually knowing what the music is going to be like, because we're not allowed to touch anything of Disney products. We can talk about him, but we can't show Donald Duck, we can't show Mickey Mouse, we can't show even his signature. Everything is basically copyrighted and protected.
Disney cartoons, there's animation, I would say, and some of the projection. But I would say if you see the cartoons in there, you probably see them around a corner or out of the corner of your eye or in your own imagination, because everybody knows what the Walt Disney cartoons are. We don't need to show them for people to know that. So the best way is, I think, for people to see them in their imagination.
Well, a documentary is supposed to tell in a realistic way, give you certain kinds of facts. An opera is not about facts, an opera is about feelings. Opera is a form of poetry. It's not a film, it's not a form of journalism. For a composer, it's not an easy métier. Commercial filmmaking measures itself success by ticket sales. Fortunately, operas don't measure themselves that way. We'd like to have sold-out houses, and I do well in that regard. But films simply cannot be made unless they can be sure to make money. And we don't write operas that way.
The opera as a musical form is wonderful because for everyone involved, it's a real question of teamwork. And it's a chance to work with so many different media together, so that with a director, with a lighting director, with a costume director, with symphony orchestra, with a wonderful singing cast, with choreographers in many cases, everyone contributes to a whole, and then comes a performance. And
it started already 5 years ago that they were thinking about it. So when I knew that somebody else is doing the libretto and that it will be an opera by Philip Glass, I knew things would change. And don't forget, it's a book of 200 pages, which is comprised to 2 hours approximately, the opera. So of course things have to be very different.
I'm a performer also. I still do 50, 60 concerts a year. I think it's too much. I'd rather be home, to be truthful. But the trouble is that at this point in my life, if I stop playing, then I won't start again. So I have to I continue to play, you know. So I'm still going out and playing concerts. But I think of music as something that takes place between me and the public. Music doesn't exist by itself as an abstract idea. It exists as a transaction, as something that happens between people.